Travel season is upon us, and we've got definite opportunities to sell some travel international coverage, trip cancellation coverage. We're joined here with Ronda Logan. And Rhonda, if you'd like to take over.
I'm so excited to be able to present to y'all today. The brokerage is like near and dear to my heart. They have been a main supporter of IMG products for a long time, really understanding the additional value our products bring to the table, opening up opportunities for you to grow your business, great cross-selling opportunities, and definitely a vastly needed product right now. And I have a lot of details to provide you on regarding that. So I'm going to give you a great overview of the market share, really how large of an opportunity it is, what we're seeing in the travel industry, as well as going into why they need travel medical insurance, the gaps in coverage that exist, and how IMG can help alleviate the gaps and the concerns of the individuals as they're traveling away from home. And then I'll go into some specific key products. We do house several products, but I'm going to go over the key products that, again, you'll be selling on a day-to-day basis and that your customers will be inquiring about. I will also go into our producer portal and kind of walk you through what you're going to see, how the email a quote feature can really provide an ease in quoting, and how convenient it is for the client to review the quote, click and purchase and receive all their documents within minutes. So let's talk about the market need. We've experienced a lot of the last couple of years, and this definitely has heightened the awareness of travel medical insurance. I think we're way beyond that now. I mean, before I think individuals would say, do I need this? Why do I need this? And I think we're beyond that now. People know they need travel medical insurance. They know why they need it. They know different things, and they've seen different things that can happen when individuals travel abroad. So they just need to know where to get it. So that's why it's so important that you're communicating with your clients about the offering that you have in your portfolio with the IMG travel medical insurance. We had talked about how we are going to be pre-pandemic levels. Well, we're definitely exceeding that. I don't think anybody could have quite predicted how large the travel industry would be rebounding. And we're very busy, and we're excited about that because our producers are very busy and actively selling our programs. And that's why we wanted to host this webinar, do a refresh for a lot of you, maybe a new product line for some of you, and really talk about how easy it is. We have a lot of great statistics. Forbes presented a poll indicating that Americans are interested in traveling internationally. I think last year was a big domestic travel, but now people are traveling internationally. They're taking longer trips. They're even extending their trips and tagging on a few work from location type of days. So they're really out there. And again, as I mentioned, above and beyond, the travel for international is great. And they're buying more expensive trips, really wanting to get their bang for their buck and seeking an exciting trip in 2023 into 2024. I think the other thing that we saw surface from all of this market need and really what's happening out there in the travel market is proof of coverage. The countries out there really tightened up saying, hey, we want to see proof of coverage before entering our country. And this really became relevant around COVID-19 because they were requiring proof of COVID-19 coverage. I mean, the last thing any country wants is for someone to come into their country and, unfortunately have a situation with COVID-19, be hospitalized, not have coverage, leave back home and not pay that bill. So we saw a really tightening of restrictions with regards to seeing and having to show proof of coverage to enter certain countries. And we're kind of seeing that tightening up and restrictions still maintain itself. Regardless of COVID-19, they want to make sure clients are covered when they're entering their country. The U.S. government wants to make sure people are buying travel medical insurance before they leave home. So let's talk a little bit about the gaps in coverage that exist. And I always start with Medicare. Medicare being a large block of business, if you will. We have a lot of Medicare recipients who travel. They have time to travel. They're taking longer trips. But as you know, with Medicare, there's definitely a gap in coverage that exists. That, they might have that supplement or might have that coverage that usually is a $50,000 emergency services only, where they have to prepay and file when they get back. Well, that really leaves a large unknown exposure for the clients, really wondering how much is covered, what's going to be my out of pocket, and how am I going to afford to pay this hospital bill? So that's really where IMG can step in and alleviate those concerns, helping those members being able to navigate a foreign healthcare system 24/7 and being able to speak different languages. Our customer care area has 18 different languages spoken in-house, and we have a language line that we connect to that when we need any type of interpretation. So we could be there for the member, not only interpreting in a foreign language, and or the provider that's calling to verify coverage in a foreign language. And again, we do that 24/7 for your clients. So I think it's important to know that we're there to help fill that gap in coverage. And I also make note of US domestic. If they have an ACA plan or some type of medical plan, a lot of times those plans won't cover them out of the state, and or definitely will not cover them outside the United States as they travel internationally. So again, they're going to have a gap in coverage, and they're going to need a level of international travel medical insurance. I also use the Canadian local nationalized, socialized coverage, if you will. We insure a lot of Canadians that come to the US to visit and spend time here, as with any country. But as with any country, when they leave their nationalized and socialized coverage, they have no coverage. So we have designed a specific plan, which I'll go into, that does provide coverage for non-US residents, non-US citizens coming to the States to visit. So again, we're there to help alleviate their concerns as they're traveling to the States. And definitely we want to make sure that they have travel medical insurance. As with any country, it's very difficult when they come here with no coverage, experience a claim, and if they have to go back home, that claim remains unpaid. We want to make sure everyone, whether it's US abroad or non-US coming here, that they are fully covered. And then to even take that a step further, it's even more important in the instance of an international emergency, a medical situation where a member has a life or limb threatening situation. IMG handles emergency medical evacs, life or limb threatening 24/7 for our members. Whether it's been a head injury because of a car accident, a moped wreck, whatever it might be. Again, we're going to be assessing that situation with the local facility and then getting them to the closest approved facility that can handle that trauma. And then also, it's important to know that IMG is there for them once they're stable and able to travel. The whole point is getting them back to their home country. And then obviously, if an accident results in a death, IMG's plans also include return of mortal remains, which is extremely important to help those family members in bringing that loved one back home. As I mentioned earlier, the U.S. Department of State, right on the government website, if you're reviewing maybe what country you're planning on traveling to, what requirements might be needed, those kind of things, right on the government website, it does indicate and they recommend that you buy a travel medical insurance policy, as well as the World Health Organization. They're a great organization that provides us a lot of great statistics on what to know before you go, but they too also recommend buying a travel medical insurance policy to make sure you're covered for those unforeseen things that can happen. Also, as I mentioned, the country restrictions that we're seeing, these are still in place in many countries. And it's great to know that IMG, again, is there to help with every policy that we issue, along with the ID cards. We are issuing a visa coverage letter that's on IMG's letterhead that provides all the information on the coverage they purchased and how to contact IMG 24/7 should they have questions or should a provider have questions regarding verification of coverage. And this really the restrictions have been in place for quite some time, especially with the Schengen visa countries. There are about 23, 26 different countries in and around Europe. They've always maintained wanting to see proof of coverage when you enter their country or before entering their country. Even more, if anyone is applying for a visa, as in a J1 visa, like a student visa, we have business visas, visitors visas for extended longer trips, if you will. But anytime you apply for visa, you do need to show proof that you are going to be maintaining an international travel medical insurance policy. And that's exactly what our visa coverage letter that we provide is designed to do. So again, IMG is here to help them alleviate all these concerns and really travel with global peace of mind. So I just want to take that to the next level and really talk about, the scary truth about international travel, what we're seeing, things that are happening. And really, again, as I said, I think we're above and beyond the client saying, oh, do I really need this? I think the clients know they need it and they just need to know where to get it. And that's where we can help you with certain marketing content, email content, messaging your client on a regular basis, especially during key peak travel times. So we can let them know, hey, you offer a travel medical insurance. You want to make sure they're buying from you, and you don't want them to go to another agency to buy a travel medical policy. So we want to make sure, again, that you're talking to your clients about your portfolio, the products you offer, which include a travel medical plan. But more importantly, I think, is again, who would they call if they had an emergency medical situation in the middle of the night, or they're in an automobile accident, or they've had some sort of accident, or they're sick. So I think it's important to know, again, IMG is 24/7 for your clients, no language barriers. And also, we're there to assist them to navigate that foreign healthcare system. What provider should I go to? I ate something and got sick. What's the closest clinic? Those are the kind of things that we can help your clients with, and do so on a day-to-day basis. I think sometimes also we might have a client that might say, oh, I'm covered under my credit card. Well, as just with Medicare, I think there's a large gap in coverage, a large out-of-pocket exposure with the uncertainty of really, what is the company that's insuring this? Are they 24/7? And what is my out-of-pocket exposure going to be? How much am I going to have to pay? And again, are they someone that can be called in the middle of the night, late at night, on weekends, and 24/7? So I think it's important to know that we're there for them, going to be assisting them and also helping with recommendations. The scary truth is we're seeing a lot of hospitals and situations where longer hospital stays have occurred, and they're actually seizing the member's passport and really forcing them to charge daily on a credit card so they can get the assistance they need and get the treatment they need. So IMG can definitely help alleviate that with verification of coverage, letting them know that what the plans cover, and then pre-certification on the hospital stay, and we can handle all of those things. So again, I think it's important to discuss those things with your clients. Like I mentioned, the emergency medical evac, life or limb-threatening situations, repatriation, returnable remains, and really just assisting that client. And it's mostly important to let them know, for $1.80 to $3.10 a day, depending on what plan you take and your age band, you can afford not to have these levels of coverage. So they're very, very affordable. One call, one company. IMG is your single resource, offering a full line of international medical insurance, trip cancellation. We offer stop-loss programs for various groups, as well as 24/7 emergency medical and travel assistance to meet the needs of anyone residing away from home. So I've talked about the large market opportunity, and we've talked about the gaps in coverage that exist, really helping alleviate those concerns of your clients that are traveling, allowing them to travel with global peace of mind and really enjoy the trip and their travels that they're taking. I kind of just want to do a market overview. These are some of the individuals that you talk to on a daily basis that are going to need a level of coverage that IMG provides. So again, whether it's any international vacationer, U.S. resident traveling anywhere outside the U.S., non-U.S. residents traveling or visiting to the States. This can even include maybe a German citizen going to Europe. And if you've got connections there with a referral or whatever, they're not coming to the States, but again, they're leaving that nationalized and socialized coverage, so they're going to need a level of coverage with whatever country they might be traveling to. Missionaries and missionary sending organizations. This is one of the really large market opportunities and really near and dear to IMG's heart, because we started in the missionary area 30 some years ago. Our missionary products were our first line of products that we rolled out, really understanding the importance of providing clients with, again, peace of mind when they travel, everything from verification of benefits. And these individuals travel in some very rural locations. So they really needed to make sure someone had their back when they were in certain countries, if they had an emergency medical situation, and helping them navigate a foreign healthcare system and getting them into a hospital that was able to treat their current condition and maybe somewhat chronic condition that they've experienced. So taking that forward, we really saw the need beyond missionaries. Everyone needs this coverage. Anyone traveling away from home would need this level of coverage. So we've developed other key programs, which I'll touch on the next couple slides, that really hit these niche areas for your clients. And again, we offer a full package, and I'll go into some of the highlights of the coverages as well, but really giving them all the essential coverage they need. Executive travel is definitely on the rise. We're seeing a lot of business executives traveling abroad, non-US coming to the States. We're also having the employer groups, really review their group medical insurance programs they're offering to their employees. For this reason, they want to make sure these executives that are traveling outside the US are fully covered, making sure their plans are extending out to international territories. And a lot of them are adding our travel medical insurance plans to their group programs for the affordability, for one, and two, for the level of service we provide, and obviously the benefits and support that we provide for those executives. It's called duty of care, and the employers are aware of that, and they're definitely looking at those levels of coverage. So if you're in the employer group market, please be sure to ask them if their plans cover international travel medical. Also, if they have executives that are traveling. And keep in mind, too, the employees really think that their group coverage should provide coverage for them when they travel outside the US. Some of them are very shocked that it doesn't. So whether it's an executive or just an employee that might be traveling on vacation, the last thing they want to happen is for that employee to have an injury or an accident, not have a level of coverage they need, not be able to get the treatment they need. And, they come back from their vacation and now they're not able to work for however so long. So it's really important that, again, with that executive travel employer group type of coverage, that we're really asking those questions about who's traveling internationally, and the level of coverage that exists. Students studying abroad, whether it's inbound to the States or US students going abroad, again, another very large market opportunity. And again, as I mentioned on a previous slide, the J1, which is a student visa, J2, which is a dependent of that student, they are required to show proof of coverage before these visas are issued or accepted. So this is a very large market opportunity, whether you sell it individually or you have certain ties with universities, colleges, vocational schools, K through 12 international schools. This is a really great way to reach a large volume of people that have to show proof of coverage. So this is a very large market opportunity as well. And the next set of vacationing groups, church groups, missionary groups, and what I mean by this is just a group of people traveling together. We can take any of our short-term travel plans and with 5 or more people, provide a 10% discount and offer it on a group product offering. And what this does is allows the group to choose a deductible policy maximum, and we can enroll everyone that's traveling within that group to make sure they're fully covered and have all the access to the IMG tools and resources that they need. We also have an option to keep it open-ended, as many of the volunteer organizations, church groups, they travel frequently many times throughout the year, and they can continue to add members to that group for that 12-month period and keep it going. So it makes it hands-free for them. They're just doing the enrollment. The group product's already been chosen, and they're covering their volunteers or church members, immediately knowing that they're going to be departing the U.S. We are seeing a huge influx of those right now. Again, volunteer organizations, church group, humanitarian aid. If you have ties to any of those, please be reaching out to them, because we are getting a lot of phone calls. They're gathering all their people and they're ready to travel again on the humanitarian aid and ministries that they provide globally. So again, this is another nice way to reach a large volume of people. And it's consistent because they take multiple trips throughout the year, and they usually take them year over year over year. So this is nice repeat business as well. As I mentioned, these short-term policies are all individual or group, and all these short-term policies are guaranteed issues. So there's no medical underwriting, and it makes it easy to literally click, review the quote, review the benefits, apply online, and receive all the documents they need to print and travel. Along with that, we do offer a long-term individual plan. This plan is medically underwritten, and it's really designed for someone that would need it at least 2 years or longer. It's designed for an expatriate that's going to be living and working outside their home country. As I mentioned, it could be a German citizen going to Europe to work, and they're going to be living and working there maybe indefinitely or the next 2 or 3 years. Maybe they're a contract employee, a U.S. contract employee that maybe is not covered under the group plan, but they're traveling internationally. They're going to be living and working abroad for this company. And we provide 4 different comprehensive plans for this long-term individual type of program. We do a lot with this with individuals with dual residencies, and I'll use Canada again as an example. We have Canadians that are covered with this global medical insurance because they spend 6 months here or maybe 6 months in Canada or travel back and forth. So it's a really good way to give them coverage in the States and also give them coverage back in their home country as a private medical insurance. And they like that. They like being able to show an ID card that you have private medical insurance, which gets you into more of the private hospitals instead of the possible government-ran public hospitals. So it is something, again, for these individuals that are seeking more of a longer term, more of a private medical insurance in their home country as they travel back and forth. And as I mentioned, long-term missionaries, again, another large opportunity there. But with the missionary division, they could be abroad for 18 months doing their ministries with their families, and then they come back home to raise more money and then go back abroad again. So this global medical long-term annually renewable type of program is ideal for all of these situations. So let's take a look at the product that really meets the needs of all of these international travelers. And I'll start with our leisure, family, and business travelers. So we have key Patriot travel medical insurance programs. We have the Patriot Platinum, and that is good for any U.S. resident traveling anywhere outside the U.S. and U.S. territories. And then we have the Patriot America Plus. Think of coming to America, right? So this is for non-U.S. citizens specifically coming to the States. And then secondary to our travel medical, we have a new set of programs, fairly new. It's really been on the market for 5 years now, but we've definitely seen a huge influx in the last year and desire for this iTravel insured type of program. It provides trip protection, trip cancellation, travel delay, baggage delay, loss of personal possessions, those kind of things up front. But then once they depart on their trip, it has the great caveats of the Patriot travel medical plans, covering them for accident, sickness, medical, and then, of course, emergency medical evac, repatriation, returnable remains, and many other coverages. So these, again, offer that trip cancellation, trip protection, really ensuring those non-refundable deposits, if you will, of a trip, a cruise they might be taking. They're paying, $5,000 for, and they want to make sure if it gets canceled or they have to cancel, they want to make sure they can file for that insurable amount and get that back, get that reimbursed, so they can go on and plan their next trip when it's convenient. So these products are very popular right now. And then our students and scholars. I mentioned the student market is a very large market opportunity. I think last reported we had over 2.3 million, if not larger, students here on visas. And I know that has to be growing. And I know that they were also pushing all the student visas through. So they're all expediting that. They're gearing up. They're ready to start. And we'll be seeing a large influx in all of this coming up. But our Patriot Exchange program is ideal K through 12 international students that might be here. is this Patriot Exchange program also has a high school sports add-on for sports that they might be playing. So that's a very sought after coverage. And then we have the Student Health Advantage. We have a standard plan and a platinum plan. But all of these short-term plans I've just mentioned here, again, are all guaranteed issue, no medical underwriting. And then the next, as I mentioned, our global medical insurance is designed to provide really long-term coverage, at least 2 years or longer, for expats, dual citizens, dual residencies, if you will, and those contract employees, things like that. So let's dive into this Patriot Travel series. As I mentioned, we have the Patriot Platinum and the Patriot America Plus, the coming to America for the non-US residents coming to the States. But we offer these to the individuals, to their dependents, obviously spouses, anyone traveling with them. As I mentioned, if you have a group of 5 or more traveling, the discount is up to 10%. So that's an exciting part and really nice to be able to offer to those groups as well, especially if you're working, as I mentioned, with humanitarian aid, volunteer organizations, or church groups. Those discounts really go a long way with them. The Patriot Platinum, as I mentioned, U.S. Residents traveling anywhere outside U.S. territories. The Patriot Platinum also offers an international travel abroad, if you will. The great thing is when you're quoting on our website, all you have to do is enter their country of citizenship, residency, and destination, and the plan. The system helps you pick the plan they're eligible for. So if they're eligible for the Patriot Platinum, it'll show up. If they're eligible for the Patriot America Plus, that'll get your option. So our quoting engine makes it really streamlined and efficient for you. As I mentioned, Patriot America Plus for non-US citizens travel to the States, along with the flexibility of being offered with individuals, groups. We also offer various policy maximums, anything from 50,000, 250,000, 500,000, 1 million. And then the Patriot Platinum really has a 2 million, a 5, and an 8 million now. So that's been updated. So the Platinum really is the best of the best. And again, very affordable. Deductible options 0 all the way up to 2,500. Both of these plans do include COVID-19, same as any illness. Again, very flexible. They can buy this in daily rates, any monthly rate they need. So if they're traveling for 18 days, they can buy 18 days. If they're going to be abroad for 3 months, they can buy 3 months. It's purchasable up to 12 months and then renewable up to an additional 12 months for a total of 24. Now, the Patriot Platinum is actually renewable up to 36 months. So that plan will actually get you 3 years. And this comes into play a lot if they're abroad and maybe they're there and they've sought employment, and then they're needing a coverage level to keep covering them until they can get on a established group plan, possibly internationally, or maybe their travel plans have changed and they'll be traveling. We have a lot of people that go from port to port to port and are just taking a very long, extended trip. So we want to make sure these plans are convenient and really meeting the needs of everyone out there. So the renewability on this is very convenient. They can buy it for 3 months. And the great thing is IMG will be prompting that client for you to renew the plan. About 15 days before it's due to renew, we'll send them an email saying, hey, your policy is getting ready to expire. Should you need to renew it, just click the below link. And they can click that, do a drop-down box for the number of days or months they want to renew or extend it. Enter their credit card, click I agree, I accept it. It goes right through. And all this remains under your IMG producer number. So we are automatically, actively, proactively engaging your client should they need to renew or extend their policies. To talk a little bit about the network. Outside the US, there is freedom of choice under these short-term plans. There's no set network or no network restrictions they have to choose from. They can go to the closest facility and or a recommended facility. However, if they're not familiar with the area or where to go, then IMG is here to help them navigate that. We can let them know the closest clinic because they ate something and got sick or whatever it might be. So that's important to know. Outside the US, it's 100% coverage following any deductible, and it is freedom of choice, any doctor, but we can help them again navigate that. We also have a link on our website under providers, find a doctor. It's called our International Provider Access Database. And because we have been doing this for 30 plus years and established many hospitals, clinics that we currently already work with, a lot of them have already agreed to accept direct billing arrangements. So you can pop out there, see the different facilities all around the globe. The ones that have starred have agreed to accept direct billing with us. And then the others are, again, freedom of choice you can go to. So that's important to know. Inside the US, we do use the United Healthcare Network, very broad, very vast network. Everybody is usually very familiar with that. But what this does for a non-US citizen that might not be familiar with how the US healthcare system works, they'll have an ID card, just as you do internationally. And they'll show that ID card when going to the United Healthcare Provider Network. And that logo appears there, all the information they need for that provider, clinic, doctor to file the claim electronically, automatically through their system into the IMG system is right on that ID card. So that alleviates the concern of a non-US citizen that's really might not be familiar with how our healthcare system works to show that ID card and get their claims, bills and services submitted to IMG directly. So the iTravel insured programs, these particular programs, as I mentioned, aren't new to the market. However, the demand has definitely increased. They are a little bit different on this program, these programs, because they are sold on like a PNC chassis. They are sold with a property and casualty license. If you don't have a property casualty license, that's not a problem. We do have a situation where we can do a referral fee reimbursement for you. But this particular product is sold to US residents traveling anywhere. So this is really the only product that we have that a US resident living in California, taking his whole family to Disneyland, Disney World, is going to be shelling out $7,000, $8,000 and wants to insure the cost of that trip in case someone gets sick, a family member gets sick, death of a family member, 23 different covered perils for trip cancellation. But in case anyone gets sick, they can insure their non-refundable deposits. It could be an airline tickets, their hotel deposit, their cruise deposit, all of their upfront non-refundable costs. They insure that. And based on their age bracket, that's how this particular policy is sold. So they have the trip cancellation, travel delay, baggage delay, loss of personal possessions, various levels of coverage there. And then once they depart, they have the accident, sickness, medical, evacuation, repatriation, all those essential coverages. So really, again, a very sought after coverage. And I think it just really starts by having that conversation with your client and asking them, hey, are you traveling this year? Second of all, asking them, are you traveling by yourself? Are you traveling with a group? And what's your main concern? Are you more just concerned about traveling medically traveling and having, travel medical insurance in case the unforeseen happens? Or are you paying a large deposit, non-refundable deposit that you want to make sure is insured in case the trip gets canceled for various covered reasons? So asking them that and getting their feel on really what they need will drive you to what product to quote for them. But this, again, is good for vacations, holidays, business travelers, trip cancellation. So again, they're going to determine their non-refundable deposits by adding all that up. Again, hotel, airfare, tour deposits, cruise deposits. And we're really seeing a lot of the facilities, the airlines and the hotels are really kind of tightening back up their restrictions, and they're not so easy to give credits anymore. So that's what makes this product even more desirable, is that people are in clients, insurers are wanting to make sure they're insured for their deposits they're making. So trip cancellation is there. Trip interruption is a benefit. If they're on their trip and it gets interrupted, they're already at their destination, but it gets interrupted for some reason, various covered perils for that. If they have to rebook a ticket, well, it's going to be more expensive buying it 2 days out. So that's why the interruption benefit is 150% of the trip cost, knowing that they're going to have to buy more money either to catch up with their trip or because their trip was interrupted and they're still trying to get back home. So that benefit exists. There's a iTravel Insured Light, which offers $100,000 accident, sickness, medical. SE is $250,000 accident, sickness, medical on the back end once they depart. And the LX provides 500,000 accident, sickness, medical, and then various other coverages. As you go throughout the light to the SE, the LX, you'll just see a increase in coverage, LX being the best of the best with travel delay, emergency medical evac. And the LX is the only particular plan that will offer an option to add as an upsell a cancel for any reason benefit if they qualify. And to qualify for that, again, applying under the LX only, it will ask them their initial trip deposit date or the date they made their initial deposit, bought their first airline ticket, whatever it might be. And they have to buy this coverage within 20 days of their initial deposit in order to get this option to add on to buy up. Now, I will say that it's about a 20% add-on, but some people want this level of coverage and they're asking about it or how to obtain it. So again, it's only available on the LX. It has to be purchased within 20 days of the initial deposit, and there is an additional premium if they choose to add that. The great thing about our system is once you enter that initial travel date, if it's beyond that 20 days, it won't even come up as an option. So our system is very sophisticated, really just giving you the information you need and allowing the clients to pick the options that are available for them. So again, a very great program, very sought after coverage for trip protection on the front end and the great travel medical on the back end. So our student programs, as I mentioned, one of the really large student opportunities, nice way to reach a large volume of people. Patriot Exchange is designed K through 12. A lot of international students here of all ages. The Patriot Exchange does have that high school sports writer that they can add on. The Student Health Advantage is a standard plan and a platinum plan. They're designed really long-term or short-term student health needs. They're great for cultural exchange, international graduates, scholars, educators, teachers, any of that might need coverage. Very flexible. Again, the Patriot Exchange is renewable up to 4 years, and the Student Health Advantage programs, the standard and platinum, are renewable up to 5 years. Also, the standard Student Health Advantage, the standard plan has a 12-month wait on pre-X, and the Student Health Advantage Platinum plan has a 6-month wait on pre-X. The Student Health Advantage Platinum plan is the only one of our student plans that would include a level of maternity coverage following a waiting period. So if they have certain requirements by their college that they have to have a certain level of maternity coverage, then they'd have to automatically look at that Student Health Advantage Platinum plan. So again, great market opportunities, whether you're selling it individually or have ties with the universities, community colleges, local college, vocational schools, really any student traveling on a student visa. I think another thing that sets us apart with this particular program is that a lot of the competition will not provide coverage for the dependents that are traveling with that student, and the IMG programs will. So a lot of countries, if they're sponsoring a student to go abroad to seek a degree, then they do not believe in splitting up families. So they will also sponsor a spouse and or children to travel with that member, that student. And we will cover that student as well as their dependents traveling on that those visas. J1 student visa and J2 is a dependent visa. So I've just gone over really the key products that you're going to have access to. Our most popular products, when you go to the quoting page, these are the ones that are going to be in the top, our top 10, if you will. And just to kind of streamline these, but we do offer the guide to IMG. This really talks great about our products and the services that we provide. So if you ever need an at a glance or a recap, this guide to IMG products is extremely valuable, if you will. I always keep it on hand. I tell the producers, always keep it on hand as you're talking to those clients, and know that we really have a product line for international travel for any international need. And we're here to help you with that. So as I mentioned, we provide a lot of really great essential coverage for international travel. Most importantly, as I mentioned, that emergency medical evac, repatriation, return of mortal remains. We're here 24/7. And remember that multilingual customer support team with 18 different languages spoken in-house and the language line. But above and beyond that, travel medical and the travel protection, we also do provide pre-travel and planning advice. If you're going to a country, what to know before you go, lost luggage, we'll help you track your lost luggage so you don't spend your vacation doing it. Replacement of passports, very crucial. If your passport gets lost or stolen, we can help you get the documents to you that you need, as well as travel arrangements, emergency travel arrangements. We can help with that. Cost containment of claims and benefit fraud investigation. We do all of that in-house just to make sure we're providing the best of the best for your clients at an affordable rate. So we talked a lot about these great programs and how they are excellent for cross-selling to whether you're doing life, health, auto, homeowners, medical, Medicare clients, especially. All these clients are going to need a level of travel medical insurance if they're traveling internationally, and they just need to know where to get it. So how easy it is to sell. I'm going to kind of walk you through the producer portal and our great quoting option and our email a quote feature. So getting set up, again, you'll have access once you're contracted. You'll have access and have an IMG producer number to the general quoting and application. Your production reporting is also available there. And I always want to talk about this. You can actually download your production. Anyone that buys from a link or a link that you set up on your website, we do house all that information for up to 2 years. This information can be downloaded to an Excel so that it can help you build your client base. So they might have bought a travel medical policy from you, but if you're remarketing all your products and services your agency offers, you can attach all these individuals that purchase a travel medical to your remarketing efforts. And that is a big deal. 36% of the people who travel frequently and or have other needs. And that's really just how to grow your agency and make this a great cross-selling opportunity. So your production report is available and can be downloaded to an Excel so you can sort that as needed. We also provide great personalized marketing materials. So if you're going to be visiting a group, 55 and older group, we have Medicare flyers that specifically talk about how Medicare doesn't cross the border. They're already embedded with your agency information. We have one on students. We have one just for your general travelers. So anybody that you sell an auto, homeowners, life policy to, it's important that you keep those flyers in hand and you're stuffing a travel flyer in any package that you send out. So we can help you recreate these. They're available already, ready to go, print and go. You can use them as needed. And then we can also give these to you in an emailable format. So really staying in front of that customer, whether it's monthly, quarterly, letting them know, hey, if you're traveling international, my agency offers a travel medical insurance program that you're going to want to have. And by the way, these are the other programs and services my agency provides. Always selling and cross-selling everything in the agency. And then, of course, we have all of our brochures and printable documents at your access under the producer area as well. Logging in is very easy. You're going to log in with your main email address and then the password that you created. The great thing is once you contract, IMG will automatically be sending you an email saying, hey, let's get you set up. Hey, let's create your password. Let's give you this easy access. And then you're going to get another email saying, hey, let's get you set up with customized linking. All of our links are available under the producer area as well. Whether you want an individual link for maybe just the Patriot Travel Medical, or maybe you're looking at an individual link for Patriot America Plus, we have that. And then we also have the whole product page that is embedded with your IMG producer number. So if you have a website, and by far with the producers that are successful with hands-free business is adding our link to their website. You can add a travel medical insurance, international medical insurance tab and house our product page. And again, we have made it so simplified for the client to pop on, enter general information, receive a quote, review the benefits. They can even review the certificate wording for the 22-page details. Click the benefits they want. Basic information, as I mentioned, the majority of everything we provide, Patriot and student plans, and those plans are guaranteed issues, so there's no medical questions. They'll verify the coverage, enter their credit card. I agree, I accept, it goes right through. So really a lot of great hands-free business can be proactively done by housing a link on your website. We, again, logging in is email address, and we'll proactively prompt you to create that password. So you'll have access for that. And the generate a quote button will automatically appear, making it very easy for you. As I mentioned, this is a similar, just a picture of a product page. It goes on with our other products, America Plus, again, coming to America for the non-US travelers to the States, and Platinum is here. You can click get a quote or get a group quote. You can click plan details, download a PDF. All of it is at your fingertips, and again, at your client's fingertips if they're buying from your website. And it's also great to know that, if they're buying a Patriot plan, we'll ask them, we do have a small trip cancellation and a trip interruption benefit they could just add on if they just maybe were concerned about that. They weren't concerned much about the additional coverages, but maybe they just want to add on that trip cancellation and want that Patriot travel plan. So we'll proactively ask them if they want that, and also a device protection rider provides coverage for repair, replacement of your cell phone if lost, stolen, or accidentally damaged during your trip. That's priceless right there. And then, of course, the adventure sports rider. So if they're going to be doing any bungee jumping, zip lining, parachuting, paragliding, parasailing, any of those, they can add that to make sure they're covered doing their adventure sports. One great feature that we provide when you're logged into the IMG producer area and you're doing a quote for a client, we have a great email a quote feature that you'll see in the top right-hand corner. When you click this, and again, just entering their date of birth, country of citizenship, residency, their destination country, their dates of travel, and the state they reside in, it will pull up the plan that they're eligible for. And based on the dates of travel, it will provide a quote for them. And it will provide a policy maximum and a deductible, all available under a drop-down box, which will allow them to toggle and change that, and it will update the premium. So very user-friendly. Optional coverages are here. They can click no if they don't want any of this, or yes if they do. And you can click email a quote and actually email this quote to your client. They receive a great email. They can click it, review the coverage. They see this same page. They can review it. They can click edit. Oh, maybe their dates of travel have changed and they're adding 2 more days. All you have to do is click edit quote. They can change their dates, change their destination, edit the number of people that are going, whatever it might be, and click to buy, enter their credit card. I agree, I accept, and it goes right through. So very, again, proactive, just takes minutes to do the email a quote feature. Once we email that quote to your client, you as the writing producer will get a copy of that. So I encourage you to create an IMG folder so you can drag those emailed quotes into the folder and then make a great resource for follow-up. Hey, I sent the email a quote. Were you able to purchase that? Did you have any additional questions? Those kind of things. So that's always good to, again, make that IMG folder to keep the documents in. And this is what the email a quote feature looks like. So your client will get this and you'll get a copy saying, hey, check out your quote. All they have to do is click the buy now button, and then they will have access to review the quote, edit it, click to buy, enter their credit card. I agree, I accept, it goes right through. Again, just basic information they would enter for their email address, name, date of birth, confirming all this information, and their government issued ID, passport, they enter that. They can click add a spouse. Maybe the spouse decided to go on a trip, add a child. All this is just relative to making it easy to get a quote. And this allows us to customize their documents. Also great that anytime, as I mentioned, a client purchases a plan from us, they do receive an email. You as the writing producer get a copy of that email. And it is our declaration of coverage page. So it provides their information, the coverage they purchased, the through and from dates, who's included in the coverage. And then down below has all their printable documents, their ID card, visa coverage letter, certificate wording, claim forms, how to contact IMG, how to file a claim. It'll have your information as the writing agent on the left-hand side and IMG information on the right-hand side. As I mentioned, the visa coverage letter comes on our letterhead with our contact information. I think it's so important that at the time of sale and beyond the time of sale, if your client has any questions, they do contact IMG directly. we are the specialists in this area. We want to make sure your client gets appropriate care, timely answers to their questions, as well as we all know, the HIPAA laws are very strict, and we're unable to really release any information regarding the client to producers and things like that. So it's just so important that they have that active relationship with IMG to make sure they're getting all their questions answered and anything that they might need to help navigate that foreign healthcare system or a provider in an area that they contact us directly. So for next steps, so, again, we talked about how large this an opportunity is, great cross-selling opportunity, way to grow your business, get more clients, cross-sell to more clients. But really, how does it all start? Really, by asking your clients, the questions are they traveling internationally in the next 12 months? Are they planning any trips? Are they planning any visitors from abroad? What's the purpose of their travel? Are they traveling as a student? Are they a missionary? Oh, are you traveling individually or with a group? Oh, yeah, I'm traveling with my church group. There's 23 of us going, and we go 4 times a year. I mean, it's just a really great foot in the door product, opening up a tremendous amount of opportunity. So asking these questions up front, whether you're on the phone with them, whether you again, we have taglines that we can set up for your emails. If you think of how many clients you reach daily in an email, by just having a simple tagline that you do with your other products, but include something about travel medical insurance, and they see that, oh, you offer travel medical insurance. I would much more rather buy my travel medical insurance from my trusted advisor, my insurance agent, than clicking on a link offered to me on an airline ticket, and I don't know who's the carrier, who do I call, what's the level of coverage, and what exactly am I covered for? Really scary thought. So it's just so important that you take those next steps and start preparing a plan to talk to your clients, email your clients, newsletters, like I said, the email tagline. All of these ways can really help this particular product reach out to your clients, and they're going to need it. And as I mentioned, you're going to want them to buy it from you and not have to go to another agency to buy a travel medical plan, because I guarantee you they're going to be remarketing all their products to their client, to that client. So important there. I also encourage you, if you're not familiar with our quoting system, go out there, and again, we have updated it. We continuously update our quoting system to make sure we're making it easy, and we're just giving the essential information they need to make it easy for them to click, quote, purchase, and travel. So go out there and do a quote, kind of get familiar with our products, and email the quote to yourself. Kind of really get the look and feel of that email and quote feature. Create that IMG folder, because you're going to be selling, and you're going to want to make sure all the email and quotes that you get copies of go into your folder. Any IMG renewal notices, you'll get a copy of those. Again, we're proactively engaging your client in case they need to extend that policy. Keep those renewal notices in there. And then, of course, any sold cases via the quote, email and quote feature, or maybe a link that you've sent them, or that you've housed the link on your website. Anybody that buys from your link, you'll also get a copy of their fulfillment. So you want to make sure you stick that in your IMG folder. Great follow-up opportunities and great foot in the door opportunities. And as always, we appreciate you and we appreciate your business that you bring to the table, and we're here to support you. IMG provides a sales service center, and we have about 12 different sales representatives, and all they do is take calls from producers like yourself. I have XYZ client, what's the best product? Or I'm locked out of the producer area, or I'm doing this quote and I had some questions, or I have a question, my client specifically asking about this coverage. You can call us, or you can email insurance@imglobal.com, and they are here to help you with all those day-to-day questions so you can click and move on to that sale. Even more importantly, we have a live chat feature, which is great. You can have the client on the phone or at your desk in your office, live chat us with your question, get your question immediately answered by one of our sales representatives, and move on to the sale. So again, we want an easy, hands-free business for you, and the Sales Service Center is here to support you. I myself, Ronda Logan, Director of Business Development. Should you have any group opportunities, those church groups, missionaries, non-for-profit groups, humanitarian aids, any group opportunity you might have, and even with those long-term global medical insurance plans, those are more of a comprehensive plan. Sales service can help you with those, but if you have any group opportunities, bring those to me. I'll be glad to help. I can talk to you about how we can make it open-ended. We can give groups their own access to handle their own enrollments once we do the initial setup. And we have a lot of these groups covered, and they really like it. And they come back year after year after year to you. So again, a lot of repeat great business with the IMG products. So now we are going to open it up for Q&A. I'm going to keep that on.
And we have lots of questions, Rhonda.
Yay.
So yes, I am too. I'm glad. Thank you everyone for participating. So we're just going to kind of start off at the first one and work down. Let's see. So if it's not, so you offer both international and coverage nationwide. So you have it excluded for Canada, and then you also have it nationwide, correct?
So let me restate that. Our coverages based on product, as Patriot Platinum, as an example, will cover a U.S. resident anywhere. So there's no really exclusion for Canada. I use the Canadians as an example because they travel here often. And once they leave their nationalized and socialized coverage, they have no coverage, so they need it. So really, as a U.S. resident, we just, under the Patriot plans, you wouldn't be covered in the U.S. or U.S. territories. Other than that, our coverage is open internationally. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes. Does a student inbound coverage, do they need inbound coverage? Does IMG meet the university minimum requirements?
So those minimum requirements can vary. And some of them set up their own guideline and what they want. If you can get a copy of those guidelines, I will be glad to streamline that for you and let you know what we can and can't do and steer you right to the product. Yes, that's, you know, they all could vary. And then a lot of times they'll allow them to take our coverage because it does meet that. And then they can show our visa coverage letter so they can waive that.
Okay. And what about pre-existing conditions? Do you cover pre-existing conditions?
So these Patriot travel medical plans are designed to cover injury, accident, and new illness. They are not designed to cover a chronic or an ongoing, currently under treatment type of condition like cancers, things like that. Pre-existing is a little bit difficult because it's determined at the time of claim. There are a certain level of coverage for like acute or a reoccurrence of a pre-existing condition. This would have been a condition that was stable, no doctor's follow-up, no medication change, and the doctor's okay then to travel. So it can't be like an ongoing chronic like cancer or something like that. That wouldn't be covered. And for the premium, you can understand that. You know, the average premium on these plans, very affordable. But again, once you sell 20, 30, 40 of them, it really adds up. So it makes it very, very revenue friendly, let's put it that way. But ideally there for an injury, accident, new illness, there is a capped level of a sudden reoccurrence of a pre-existing condition. Again, I look at this as more of an asthma. They have it, but it's, you know, here or there. They might take an inhaler, but they get into a different altitude and it flares up. So this would be something that would be considered under that, not more of your chronic conditions. But there is a level of coverage should they have an unexpected reoccurrence of a pre-existing condition that we want to make sure they get stable. And then there is even a medical amount for a medical evacuation for instance, life or limb threatening. So it's capped. Having said that, I do want to just mention under the student plan, the Student Health Advantage standard has a 12-month wait on pre-X. After 12 months, then it's considered for coverage. And then the Student Health Advantage Platinum is 6-month wait on pre-X.
Okay, thank you. The next one's going to be if we've got a family, 3 families that are going to travel, do you suggest they all travel together under a group plan?
Okay, very good question. So with families that are traveling, 18 and older are considered their own member. They are to travel with their own ID card. So having said that, you can definitely do that. It could be mom and dad as one unit, their 18-year-old as another unit, grandma and grandpa, aunt and uncle, and then their kids, whatever you need. And if you have 5 or more of separate family units, they can get that group discount. So 18 and above require their own ID card, and then the family units are separate, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. And yes, it does. And let's see. Is this a reimbursement plan, or does IMG take care of the medical provider in the country that is needed, that medical assistance needed?
Okay. So with regards to coverage outside the US, as I mentioned, there's no restrictions. They can go to any provider they choose. It's more likely that those physician offices and clinics just don't bill insurance companies. So those bills outside the US, healthcare is a lot less expensive than what we pay here. So those bills you can pay and file those when you get back. Now, hospital bills, this is where IMG really comes into play. It's so important that you travel with your ID card. You're showing that you have private medical insurance and that someone traveling with you has a copy of your ID card, so that they're showing that ID card, that provider, that hospital can call IMG. We can verify coverage based on XYZ diagnosis, this course of treatment, this is what the plan would reimburse. We can send what's called a payment letter, which outlines our level of coverage. In some cases where someone's been hospitalized for a week or longer, providers have requested a wire transfer or some payment to help pay for that hospital stay. We've done that before. Again, we're 24/7, no language barriers. So this is where we really come into play and can alleviate having to pay out of pocket for hospital bills, having to charge daily on a credit card. So those hospital bills are the ones we want to be actively engaged with. It's very important.
Okay. And can a travel insurance be canceled or changed before the actual travel dates?
Yes, the policy before the effective date or your departure date, it can be fully refunded. We do have to have that cancellation from the member requesting to cancel, and that goes to cancel@imglobal.com. And they just reference their certificate number. And after the effective date, it can be, but there's like a $50 cancellation fee, and as long as no claims have been filed.
Okay. Here's a good one. We have an agent that is working with a church that has over 40 people. 6 of them are over 65. They're leaving in June. Is it better to quote them as a group or individually? Because in running a test quote, the 65-year-old coverage is limited to $50,000 per person.
Right. So that is exactly correct. Those individuals that are over 65, you can look at putting them possibly under a platinum group, and they would get a little higher policy maximum. And then those under 65, definitely applying for them under they can do the light or they can do the Patriot Platinum, whichever they prefer. But yes, I would encourage that. That way that there's no confusion on the policy maximum offered. And by age band, that happens 65 to 69, and then 70 above is limited to 50,000, and then 80 plus is limited to 10,000. But the platinum offers 70 to 79, 100,000 policy maximum. 80 plus gets $20,000 policy maximum. So we're kind of already, and for the price point, the platinum is just really the better way to go. The light is definitely an option, but the platinum is just a higher level of coverage, and they could purchase more coverage by still being affordable.
So it would be safe to say that if you're quoting a group of people, take the 65-year-olds and older and put them on one plan, and then put everybody else that's younger on a different plan.
I would agree with that. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, perfect. Let's see. What is the big difference between the Patriot Light Travel and the Globe Hopper Senior?
So the Globe Hopper Senior was specifically designed for individuals, Medicare recipients that have A and B and a Medigap and Medicare Advantage plan. If they have to have those to qualify for that, and having those particular plans, it would allow those people 65 to 69 and 70 plus to buy higher levels of policy maximums than offered under the Patriot plan. So that's still a viable option. It just has the specifically requirements for U.S. residency, Medicare A and B, and a Medicare Advantage. They have to have those. So, if they have Medicare A and don't have B for whatever reason, then you just have to quote them a Patriot plan. So the main difference is it's going to allow those Medicare recipients who are eligible to purchase higher policy maximums.
Okay, let's see here. The next one that we have on the license needed, do you need to have a P&C license for the iTravel product, or does the life and health license work?
The life and health license would follow our Patriot IMG plans, Patriot Travel student plans, those plans. The iTravel insured for commissionable purposes does require a P&C license, or some states call it a limited lines license. If you don't have that and you're still wanting to offer those programs, we do have an affiliate referral fee that is issued to the writing agent only. But we could give you, it's a flat amount depending on what plan you sell. If you don't have a P&C license and you're interested in that, you can shoot me an email and I can work with you and the brokerage on that.
Okay. And does the medical portion cover COVID test and treatment?
So the Patriot series covers COVID-19, same as any illness, but it will not, it would cover a positive diagnosis and treatment. It would not cover a test that you're having to rule it out. So if you take a test, and it has to be a physician test, it's not going to reimburse for your independent test that you do at home. If you take a test and you are not sick, it would not provide coverage for that. If you are at a physician office and being diagnosed with COVID, and they administer the test and any treatment that you might need, that would be submittable expense.
Okay. Can you go back over the iTravel? There seems to be several questions regarding that particular product.
Sure. And shoot away. I'll be glad, Jimmy, just to go through the review again, or
the one question is included is Medicare or medical for Medicare eligible insureds, or do they have to have the globe hopper? So I think just a good overview of this would be great.
Okay, so all age bands are eligible for this particular plan. And you'll find if they're looking for trip protection up front and want great caveats of the travel medical on the back end, this is a very good plan. And you'll find that it doesn't provide a lot of the caps that the Patriot would be by age band. Okay, so they can still take this 65 to 69, and you'll see the coverage that they get is what they get. They won't be restricted. So if they're applying for a light, they'll get 100,000 medical. If they're applying for the SE, they'll get 250,000. If they're applying for the LX, it'll be 500,000 accident sickness medical. So very good option for that, but it's going to be the trip protection also included on that in the front end.
Okay, and can you purchase this for, is the iTravel product for U.S. travel only?
So it is for a U.S. resident traveling within the U.S. and internationally. So a U.S. resident traveling anywhere, domestically and internationally, can take one of these programs.
Okay. And what are the average rate? Do you have an average age requirement for these plans? Is there a point when they're too young or too old?
14 days, and it says 80 plus. Some of the iTravel insurers, I think, say to age 90.
Okay.
But really, our Patriot series is 80 plus, just knowing that the system will provide the policy maximum they're eligible for.
Perfect. Okay. Let's see. Whew. Okay. Do you know how the rates will compare to the options that are offered with the airline tickets?
So IMG's iTravel insured programs are very competitive in that market space. Now, what you'll find with those, click to purchase under a ticket, it's very limited coverage. Sometimes it's only $10,000, $25,000. So it's not the bang for the buck for sure. And it's really not probably the essential coverage they need. But we're very competitive in the market space with the Allianz and several of those competitors out there that offer those type of products. So again, as I mentioned, I would definitely provide that quote, but more importantly, provide the benefit summary so they can actually see what they're buying and who's administrating it. And again, 9 out of 10 times they're going to buy from their trusted advisor, their producer.
So just to clarify, or just to verify rather, travel medical insurance is required to travel internationally. Example, Israel. Do you have to have it to get into Israel?
Every state is different. Excuse me, every country is different. So
Okay.
you can pop on the government website. It's called travel.state.gov. Travel.state.gov. Click on the country and it will provide you with the requirements for travel in that country.
Okay. Let's see. We had an agent that was quoting for a U.S. citizen traveling abroad for 2 weeks. The only products that came up was the Patriot Light and the Platinum, but it doesn't just show the Patriot plan anymore. Is that still available?
So the Patriot has changed to the Patriot Light. So now you'll have the Patriot Light and the Patriot Platinum for U.S. residents traveling abroad. Those will be your two options. And the main difference is, again, higher policy maximum, higher levels of coverage, and different deductible options. So it just really depends on what they're looking for.
Okay. Let's see. We've got some more. Okay, so can you give an example of selling a policy to a German national who is traveling abroad in Europe? Do we need to be in the United States or to sell the product, or can we sell nationally?
Very good question. With your life and health resident license, and or if you sell in Florida to a Florida resident, then you'd have a life and health non-resident. That's the only in life insurance requirements there. So as a life and health producer, if you have a resident life and health license, this product you can sell in all states and internationally because it is a true international based product and filed that way as well. So that opens up a lot of market opportunity in and around your states. And again, for anybody that might be traveling internationally, but not coming to the States.
Okay. And then can you take a little bit of a dive and in the comparison versus contrast of the GAP international coverage for Medicare folks?
So reference GAP, I was talking about the gap in coverage that exists. And really what you'll find there is my understanding with the Medicare is that it's a $50,000 emergency service only. They have to prepay and file and they get back. So as an example, if they have a $150,000 bill, and then if you have to add in an emergency medical evac to that can range anywhere from 18 to 42,000, you can see that Medicare policy, and again, it would have to be coded as emergency services only, would get eaten up pretty fast. So that's why IMG's plan could help fill that gap in coverage.
Okay. When quoting a group or individual, what is the latest time that they could get insured before departure? When do they need to apply?
So for the Patriot Travel series, all of our short-term IMG products, they can literally apply today and be covered a minute after midnight. Okay. The iTravel insured plans, you're going to want to buy those within your initial deposit because the whole point is you buy it now when you're making that initial deposit. And then anything could happen between your initial deposit until you actually depart under those 23 perils under trip cancellation. If you have to cancel your trip, then you can file and get your reimbursement for your insurable amount. So you want to make sure you're buying that one right away. And then once you depart, it automatically includes that great travel medical that'll cover you up for your duration of your trip.
Okay. With the increased mobility and health of the seniors, when it comes to 70, 75, are there any increasing benefits in any of your products?
So I would say the platinum is definitely the go-to plan for those seniors, as well as the Globe Hopper senior. Those are going to allow them to have higher policy maximums. With a higher policy maximum, they might have a deductible involved, but it still allows them for a higher policy maximum. I really like the platinum, and I really like the Globe Hopper senior for those seniors. As I mentioned, they have the emergency medical evacuation for life or limb threatening. But included in these plans, the platinum and the Globe Hopper senior, is an emergency medical for a serious situation. So maybe it's not life or limb threatening, but it's serious enough and the member wants to be evacuated. That is also a covered benefit under a certain level. So it alleviates both concerns. A lot of times with seniors, it ends up being life or limb threatening, but maybe it's just more serious and not life or limb threatening. They're taken to a hospital. And if they have the platinum plan and or the Globe Hopper senior, that emergency evac for serious incidents is also covered.
Perfect. And then when you're working with groups, can they get access to a group portal for their particular group? Like if you've got workers that are going out of state, or I'm sorry, out of the country, can groups have their own portal access to continually buy if needed?
Yes. So what we can do is we'll work with you to work with the group, establish the group plan, picking the deductible, the policy maximum, which plan they want. That plan we will keep open-ended for 12 months, and we will give them access to the My IMG portal as a group representative. Someone there in the company would have a login, and they would just simply log in and add those members using their basic information. Add the members, their dates of travel. It will present and provide a roster and an invoice, and then they can just click on the pay with the existing credit card on file, and then that goes right through. So yes, the group employer can do its own administration, and we provide them a login to that.
Okay. And then can links for the different products be sent? So can you send a link just for the iTravel, one for just the Patriot Lite, or is it one quoting link and the client selects the product?
So we do, and I have available under the producer area, under marketing, is text linking. So you can actually pick the product, create your own text link for just that product if you want to use that.
Okay. Okay. And would you recommend iTravel over other plans?
So iTravel over other plans. So really that goes back to the need of the client. If the client is more concerned or just concerned about being covered medically, maybe they're staying with relatives, they don't have a whole lot of upfront, they're not really concerned about paying for their airfare, is bought with points or something, then they're going to want maybe a travel medical. But if they're really taking a cruise or an event and they're concerned about cancellation, and again, rightfully so, what we're seeing in the marketplace now are the delays with the airlines, the cancellations with little or no reason. Those things are happening. So it really just depends on the client's needs. They're really separate products. They're marketed separately, and really just finding out what they want and what their main concern is.
Okay. And payment for groups, is it one payment for the group or is it individual payments for everyone?
So our groups are paid one payment.
Okay. And just as the group, employer group has a portal, are you also able to do that for other organizations like a church or something along those lines?
Yes. If we're selling it as a Patriot group, Patriot Platinum group, they can all have, whether it's just a church, a non-for-profit organization, humanitarian aid, anybody that wants to administer that group and have one login, they can click and we'll keep it open-ended for 12 months, and they can do their enrollments for 12 months. And then at the end of 12 months, we can actually renew it for another 12 months as they continue traveling.
Awesome. And then we just have a statement that I feel is very important to all of this webinar. We have an agent that has used IMG in Madrid, Spain. Their daughter needed emergency surgery, and within an hour, the hospital had faxed faxed over had a fax indicating full coverage. Plus, they offered a Spanish-speaking interpreter to call the hospital. And this agent has worked with IMG a very long time and was very thankful for those help. So that just goes back to why you need to have that additional coverage and the importance of having that when you travel, outside your country of citizenship. If you would like to get contracted, you can do that on your agent broker link on our website. You can call us with any questions. Again, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Rhonda.
Thank you.